Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Keeping It Real. I'm Reverend Laura Hallett, and it is my pleasure to be back here with you again today. I'm out in my backyard. I've just recently moved into a house. Now I have a fly bothering me. I just recently moved into a house, so my backyard is completely unfinished. There's just a small patio right by the door, and I have a table with an umbrella on it. And the landscaper should be starting on it next week, finishing it up. And I'm out here with my beloved companion, Molly. And as you can see, Molly is running around sniffing the yard. And while you might think she's looking for something treasured or a favorite spot to take care of her business, what she's actually doing is looking for a rock. My friend Molly loves her rocks. And that reminded me this morning of a practice that I read about in a book called The Book of Forgiving by Desmond Tutu and his daughter Info. And forgiveness is what I want to talk about today. Forgiveness is a practice that can help us enhance our lives in so many different ways. But we're talking about unity this month. And oftentimes what helps us from feeling unified with other people, feeling at one with other people, that helps promote a sense of separation in us, is the fact that we can't forgive. And so in this book, the Book of Forgiving, it takes us through a ritual called the Fourfold Path of Forgiveness. And in the first step of this path, it talks about telling our story. And that's one of the things that helps us, that keeps us from experiencing forgiveness, is the fact that we have no place to tell the story. We can't just let it go. Most often there's so much wounding and pain around the situation that it's hard for us to just release it and let that be the way it was, the way everything was back before the situation happened. And so in this book, Desmond Tutu's daughter suggests that we tell the story to any place we can, and she creates a ritual around telling the story to a rock. And so it's very simple. I have a rock here Molly brought me earlier this morning. She seems to like the bigger ones. And so you just simply find a quiet place and tell the story of what happened into the rock. Just whisper it into the rock. If there are people around you, you can just do it silently in your mind, but holding the rock, knowing that the rock becomes the repository of that story. It is a place for you to put the story of what happened. And once we tell the story, then there's a place for us to let it go. And so the second part of the ritual around the rock is to do something with it afterwards. And so there's several things that we can do with this rock after we have told it our story. We can just hold it close, keep it with us, knowing that the story is safe with us. We can decide that we want to let this story go. We've told it now, and we're ready to be done with it. And so she suggests that we find a place, a sacred place, to put the story. This could be something like putting it in a rock garden, or along a favorite path that you walk every morning, or finding a place that you know will be treasured. The other thing you can do is sometimes we're just ready to release that story so much that we just want to get rid of it, and we don't really care where it goes. And in that case, we can take it out into the nature somewhere. I like to find water to do this, and just throw that stone as far as we can throw it, to release that story from our experience. That physical act of throwing that rock, these flies today, is a powerful expression of how much we want to release this story. And so just taking it somewhere out and chucking it, and not even worrying about where it lands or what happens to it afterwards. And the last thing that she suggests we can do with it is we can actually begin to transform the story. And I think this becomes a really, really powerful practice. And so one of the things that we can do to transform this rock is to do something creative with it. We can put it in a plant that we have, and allow it to become part of the beauty of this plant. Set it at the base of the plant. We can paint it, make it a pet rock, or just decorate it in some way. I happen to like the dot painting that has come out lately. I think that's a beautiful way of decorating a rock, and yet it also becomes kind of a symbolic representation of whatever that is. So you can use dots to create circles or spirals, or anything that signifies that this story is in transition, that it is moving forward out of your experience, so that it's no longer the same thing that impacted you so much when it happened to you. You know, this isn't about minimizing our traumas. This isn't about minimizing what has happened to us. And remember, forgiveness is never about forgetting, but forgiveness is letting something go so that it no longer has a hold on us anymore. And when we do that, then we can begin to bridge that gap of separation that we feel from the people that have wronged us, or other people like the people that have wronged us. And we can begin to heal that in ourselves and come to a place of equanimity, of balance, where we are no longer reactive to the situation, to the person, to those kind of people, any of that. And this can be a really powerful way. So give yourself a chance to tell the story if you haven't told it before, or even if you have told it before and you just feel like it hasn't been heard enough. Tell the story. Tell the story to something that is safe. And these rocks become a very safe repository of some of the worst things that have happened to us. It's a powerful practice. It can release a lot of things out of our lives that have hindered us from feeling the fullness of life that is available to us. All right, folks, have a great week, and we will be back with you again next week on Keeping It Real. Bye-bye.